Hey guys, this is Keenu J from canadadarshan1000. Today I'm going to talk about the life of immigrants in Canada. So make best use of your life in Canada by following these few steps, or let's say that you need to know these few steps before you migrate or immigrant to Canada. Canada is one of the most popular countries around the world when it comes to immigration. It is liked by a lot of people. People want to come and live in Canada. It's a safe country to live. It is a very, very diverse country to live in. So we'll talk about that today. Before I start the topic, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also press the bell icon for further notification that you can get notified for further videos. So the first thing I will talk about the new immigrants is the cost of living. So what that means is the typical basic commodities or typical basic cost of living in Canada for basic items is on a higher side. So by saying that if you compare to the other European countries or the countries around the world, especially with the Western European countries, it is slightly less, but it is on the whole, it's still a little bit expensive, but if you compare to other countries, it is slightly low cost. The average Canadian almost spends 35 to 50% of their salaries on their lodging, on their utilities, on their rent, mortgage, on their cooling, warming the house. Also, depending on where you choose to live. People living in big cities like Montreal, Toronto, Calgary, and Vancouver, they would naturally ask for high cost. They are there and they have to pay high cost. There are advantages of living in those cities, big urban cities, but then you have to have a high cost of living, high cost of food. Everything is high as compared to that you can live in a smaller city and then you can have a little bit low cost of your living day-to-day life. If you own a vehicle in Canada, it's a law that it needs to be registered with the provincial authorities. So that is additional cost to own a vehicle, which is also to be considered. Also, weather. There are extreme weathers in Canada. You have to heat and cool your home throughout the year. So more cooling or more heating means more power. So more power means more money. So for most of the immigrants, when they come and land in Canada, the very big issue which they face from most of the countries is a language. So language is very important to communicate. The language, if you don't know the language, they learn the language, but it's very, very hard to communicate for a new immigrant with the authorities, with other people, with the society. So language can be a big factor for new immigrants when they land in Canada or when they come in Canada. The other important factor can be the weather. So if you are coming from a warmer country, again, if you're coming here when there is minus 20 to minus 40 degrees temperature, it is very hard to adjust for the new immigrants in this weather. You have to make sure you have proper shoes to wear, that you can walk very safely with those, and also warm clothes. So that can be an issue if you are coming here in real winter months from somewhere around the world where the weather was not as harsh. The winter was not as harsh. The other issue which the immigrants mostly face is the driver's license. So it is very common here to have a car. Everyone owns a car here. It's very convenient to go from one place to the other. People do use the public transportation as well, but to drive a car you need a license. So to have a license you have to take classes, and after taking the classes you have to write a test, and and then you have to go on the road to have a driving test of what are your capabilities, what are your skills of driving. So that is very harsh. Sometimes you have to go 1, 2, 3 times to pass that test before you actually get the license. And then there are categories of license depending on which province you live. The other very important factor can be the work, finding the work, making the resumes to find the work. Where you go, how you make a resume is very important. What was your qualification from the country you're coming from? What was your education? What was your background? Had you had any work experience in that country? So if you had all those things, do you have papers with you? Do you have any letters of reference? And you have to write all those things in the resume that you can present that letter with your copies to the employer where you're going to go and look for a job. That can be hard. So keep looking for the job postings when you go around. Keep your eyes open, that where sometimes they say hiring, you can see a lot of hiring signs, and you can go and give your resumes in your relevant field. And finding a work can be a real challenge for an immigrant. So yeah, these were a few factors which we see normally all the immigrants do face when they come to Canada. And I hope you like the video. Please don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon, and also share the video. Stay tuned for the further videos, much more to come. Bye for now.